Did you know that every word you speak matters? Are your conversations making a difference? With a passion for words and a heart for conversation, Teresa Velardi is a self-professed word nerd, best-selling author, BizCat 360 columnist, and publisher. Children's books as well as fiction and nonfiction books are welcomed at WeBe Books Publishing and Book Endeavors, the imprints of her company, Authentic Endeavors Publishing. Whether written or spoken, Teresa strives to encourage and inspire meaningful conversations that make a difference. Here's the host of Conversations That Make a Difference, Teresa Velardi.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another edition of Conversations That Make a Difference. I'm Teresa Velardi, your host, and I just want to let you know that Conversations That Make a Difference can be seen on YouTube live the first and third Tuesday of the month at 5 p.m. Eastern. You can watch anytime, 5 a.m., 5 p.m. Eastern on any Tuesday. And we are on syndicated Dream Vision 7 radio network. You can listen online in your car, YouTube, of course, and you can even ask Alexa to play Dream Vision 7 network. Go to dreamvision7radio.com for all the information and the full schedule for Dream Vision 7. Before we get started with all these beautiful people we have here today, we're going to start the way we usually do with the Serenity Prayer. So let's say that. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And I also want to say that it is by God's grace that we are fabulous, blessed, and highly favored, living in our greatness, using our gifts and talents, making a difference in the lives of others with passion and purpose. And all of God's great universe is conspiring in our favor. And we gratefully say, Amen.
Amen.
Amen. So, these beautiful people are authors in the newest book of the Daily Gift book series called A Daily Gift of Kindness. Yay! We're getting our copies out all over there. Yes, yes, yes. So, yes, exactly. The first person we're going to introduce is Dr. Terry Lynch, and let me tell you a little bit about her. As a dedicated health professional, she helps others thrive naturally, guiding clients toward their fullest potential in unique and meaningful ways. At every step of the journey, she provides support, encouragement, and tools for transformation. It's not about her, but about her clients' victories. Together, they focus on nurturing the body, mind, and spirit for lasting wellness. Whether it's gaining energy, finding balance, or achieving natural health goals, her client's success is her mission. And every win brings each client closer to a healthier, happy life. And you can find more about her at teresalynch.com, Teresa, just like me, LYNCH.com. So welcome, Dr. Terry. How are you?
So happy to be here and so happy to be with everyone to share this with a group that just focuses on kindness. I'm in a good place.
You are indeed. Kindness breeds kindness, right? We know that for sure. We know that for sure. And it's great to be on either end of kindness, whether you are the giver or the receiver, everybody benefits, right?
That is very true. Everybody does benefit.
Yes. So you submitted 2 stories for this lovely book. The first one is entitled, let's see here. One of them is entitled, The Smallest Act of Kindness Can Lead to Miracles. And the other one is A Gift of Kindness Goes Awry. Which one would you like to talk about?
Wouldn't you love to hear the one about the gift of kindness goes awry?
Yeah, I think that,
you know, and my mother, my Irish mother-in-law would say, you know, when you go and do something at times, that no good deed goes unpunished.
Oh my goodness.
And that I only think happens with the attitude in which you go into it with. Because if you're open to whatever your act of kindness is going to bring, you get more learnings from it.
Absolutely.
Or you step back and then, or you step back and you don't see the world as a kind place. But
Right.
our goal here is to show that kindness is something that exists within us and out. You know, would you rather be kind or miserable? You know, would you rather be right or happy? You know, these are the choices that we can internally make and bring forth into our world and just make that a better place by us. And each of you here, you know, as I'm looking at all of you the same way, it's our choice, right? We're the ones
Absolutely.
that bring that to the world. So in this act of kindness, my son was getting confirmed. And in that, we were going to do acts of kindness. We had to do stuff, you know, to do that. But in the meantime, he had told me that, this is when he was in a 7th or 8th grade, he had told me that he had never been to a Broadway play. And we live outside of New York City, near Princeton University in New Jersey. So that just gives you an area where we live. And in this situation, he's right. And my daughter, he says, and Catherine, she's been to 5. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So you put that out into the world and you pray. Let's see if we can do something to make this happen. Well, wouldn't you know, my sister-in-law, she calls like 3 days later. She works at a school and they had extra tickets to Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. So she was wondering if I would want some of those tickets. And I was like, yes, yes, of course. And so I tell Sean, we're going to Chitty Chitty Bang Bang on Wednesday for the, 2 p.m. show, I think it was. And he says to me, we can't do that. I'm in school. I said, Sean, you brought this about. You made this happen. We're all going. So Sean, my daughter, and my son, the youngest, we then say, okay, we're going to go see this show, but there are a lot of homeless people, hungry people, beggars on the streets of the city in general. And we make a nice big lunch. Sean makes a big turkey sandwich. And then Catherine decorates the bag. That was very important to her. And Michael chose a few snacks, maybe not as healthy as we would have wanted, but he chose a few snacks and that was his job. And we put this together and we got on the train. We go into the city. And would you believe it? It was one of those gorgeous days in March. And there was not a beggar to be had. There was no one. And we're getting closer to the theater district. And I'm like, what do we do now? So we go make a right and we go down to 5th Avenue to get in front of the New York Library. Usually somebody's there. So we get down, we turn the corner and it's like, my kids stand, there he is. There he is. There was a beggar right in front of the New York Library. And he was in a wheelchair. He had the bandana, he was a veteran, and it was everything my kids wanted. They were like, this is the guy. So my son, who's usually the older guy, Sean, and this is, was supposed to be his act of kindness. He gets the courage up and he looks at me and I look at him and he takes the box and he goes, we nod at each other. He knows he has to do this. So he turns around, he walks up to this gentleman, and now there was a sign that said blind, need money. And he goes past that sign and he says, sir, and he's this gentleman sitting in a wheelchair, he's a double amputee even. So he says, sir, my family made you a lunch for today. And the guy turns to his voice and says, kid, can you read the sign? I don't need your money. I don't need your food. I want your money. So don't need your food. Now, Sean is struck by that and he starts stepping back very slowly, and then gradually comes to me, turns to me, holds the box in front of me, looks up and says, Mom, I thought you said beggars can't be choosers. And all I could say was, apparently they can. Apparently they can, Sean. And it was a really incredible moment for us because we had to step back and see, what does kindness actually mean? And kindness is something that came from our hearts to do something for this person. And yet this person wanted something else. And to then reflect on, what do people really need? When do we really need to be kind? And who are we to judge that somebody actually needs our kindness?
Yeah.
Who
Well,
are we to judge that an act of kindness needs to be done for this person?
mhm.
So, I mean, what would your reflection on that be? Anybody else have any thoughts on that?
Well, if anybody has any thoughts, you can unmute. I just want to say this, that,
Oh, just 1 second. By the way, Sean makes a very good turkey sandwich, just to let you know.
oh my goodness. If this isn't a lesson, I don't know what is. I mean, my mother used to say beggars can't be choosers. And really, honestly, I have never had a situation like the one that you have just described, that somebody has not necessarily been grateful, or if that was me, I would have even if I didn't want to eat the sandwich, I would have taken the sandwich and given it to someone else who could have used it. But this story, when you said that, when you told me the story, and then when you submitted it in writing, all I could do was shake my head. Does anybody have anything they want to add to this? It's
But just, yeah, I'm sorry. But kindness, what do you have to add, babe? Then we can go on. Yeah, January.
So I wanted to share that happened to me as well. I went to Berkeley as I was walking down Telegraph. I'm eating a peach and I see a homeless person and I'm like, I just took one bite of the peach and that's all I really had. And so I said, you can have it. And he said, no, I don't need that. I need same thing. I need money or I need a cigarette. It was either cigarette or money. I can't remember, but I think I was taken aback that he didn't accept the peach because it's like, I thought you were hungry, and here's something that you can have. So yeah,
Exactly.
it did
Mhm.
happen to me as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So it was just an incredible reflection for us as a family to also say it's not that you don't make the effort for kindness, but that you stay open and stay curious to
Yeah,
whatever the outcome may be.
yeah,
And
exactly.
and also I said to myself, I don't remember saying beggars can't be choosers. And that also was a reflection for me is how are we doing some cliches around our home and that we're not even thinking, just statements that we're not really thinking about that we're using that are impressing upon our kids that may
Mhm.
or may not be true.
Yeah,
And that was the
yeah,
other thing. Like, when he said that beggars can't be choosers, I said, I say that,
yeah.
So
That's a cliche
I'm
that,
aware of the things
yeah,
that sometimes I say and become more aware of. But it was a wonderful example. And I'm just so grateful it took place because it made us really reflect on really kindness, knowing what somebody else really wants
mhm.
is that next level. They say, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. That's one level, but the platinum level is do unto others as they would have one done for them.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think
Great.
I know somebody called that the platinum rule, but it's another reflection that we have on kindness and that for us to remain and stay in that space of kindness is to reflect
Yeah,
on all the happenings outside of us and take responsibility for all our actions with an attempt at curiosity,
yeah.
wondering where it's going.
Really good, Dr. Terry. Really good. Yeah, a totally different ending that anyone might imagine. When you get to the end, you're just like, what? But it was, thank you for your submission
To
to the
read
book.
this. And the funny thing also about it that came out is my daughter spent so much time decorating that bag and the box or whatever we put that in, and the guy was blind, um,
Yeah, ironic,
and
right?
she stood there looking, she's reading blind, and I see her looking at the box, looking at the sign, and she's wondering, I guess he's not going to really enjoy this, but kid, can't you
Kids, right?
fine? Yeah, kid,
But at
can't
least you got to
you?
see the play and everybody had a good time
Oh,
there,
yeah, it
I'm
was no, it was
sure.
absolutely, it
So,
was, and it's a story that lasts a lifetime.
yeah,
If he had taken the
absolutely.
box, I don't think we would have had much of a story. It would be another thing that we would have done for his confirmation activity. So,
Thank you, Dr. Terry. I'm going to move to Mark Height. Mark, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing excellent, Teresa.
Good, thank you. I want to say every single one of you is from a different state. Mark is in Florida. Terry
New
is
Jersey,
in New
New Jersey.
Jersey. Will is in Georgia. Amanda is in Iowa, Amy is in North Carolina, and little Miss January over there, she's our little Hawaiian princess. She's in Hawaii, right? She lives there. So we're all over the place. So Dr. Terry, thank you so much again. Mark, let me give people an idea of who you are, my friend. An award-winning writer, director, producer of 300 million and half-hour infomercials. Has a Bachelor's of Science from Syracuse University and the State University of New York College of Environmental Science and Forestry. You have performed music at Carnegie Hall and fought forest fires. Try and say that 3 times fast. In Idaho. Mark is the husband of Sandy and the father of Ken and Ruth, or the grandfather of Graeme. And he has a unique perspective on the influences that enlighten, empower, and motivate people to take effective action. His faith is above all. Now, Mark, you wrote a story called Kindness Encounter. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Well, thank you, Teresa, and thank you for the invite. It's always a pleasure to be here. It was kind of a play on words because where this occurred was the counter at Walgreens. Mm-hmm. And one of my favorite places where you go up, and in general, it's frustrating because you'll get in line and now you wait for the various challenges that are going to happen. On this particular day, there was only one gentleman in front of me, and it was the usual, okay, that credit card not working. Ooh, didn't bring the checkbook with me. Uh-oh, other credit card not working. Looks like I am not going to be able to pay for my stuff today and take it home. A total wasted trip. And you could see the frustration growing. Mm-hmm. So I just reached into my wallet and I simply said, here, try my credit card. Let's see if it goes through. I'll be glad to pay for it. The guy was in total shock. He accepted it, fortunately. And was able to walk away with his packages. So I did my purchase, and then I'm going to the back of Walgreens to do the prescription department. Well, as I'm coming back from that, I see this gentleman walking again in through the store because he had a couple other things to buy, and this time he had some cash in his hand. But he said, you know, I really want to thank you. I just cannot believe that anybody would actually do that for somebody else. And I said, well, you know, the lesson from that one is I was happy to do it. You do it for somebody else the next time when you see that. I said, that's what makes the world a beautiful place. If I do it, you do it, we all do it. We can take care of one another. That's what, and he was just, I think, moved, and he probably will pay it forward, as it were. But what it really impressed upon me, and this goes back to something that Terry had in her experience, is that kindness naturally flows. I mean, I didn't wake up that morning and plot out who I was going to be kind to and make sure I had an extra credit card or something so I could pay for something. And I certainly wasn't stalking around the store to go, who am I going to help this day? It just arises. And if you're ready for it and you are in the mode of kindness, when those instances occur, it will naturally flow for you. And from my perspective, the reason that that happens is because from a Christian standpoint, from a biblical standpoint, there's certain things in the Bible that it tells you you should be. And one of them is to be kind. Mm-hmm. And that means that that's your basic makeup. That's who you are now spiritually. You are kind. And so you naturally react to kindness. And you're not looking for somebody else to say thank you. You're not looking for somebody else to pay you. They may even walk away as they did with Terry in that situation. But the other example that I had recently is I'm driving by McDonald's. There's a mother and her 8-year-old son and her 5-year-old daughter, and they're sitting there on the curb. And it has a little sign, you know, can you help? So I naturally give them a couple dollars. But then instead of driving off, since I was right there at McDonald's, I asked what may be the obvious question, would you like something to eat? And the kids just went, yes, I'd like some chicken nuggets. And the other kid wanted a little McChicken or whatever and some water and what have you. So I went ahead and I bought that. But here's the end of that tale. On that situation, I didn't get to re-encounter with them other than as I'm driving out of the parking lot, I did see over in the corner of my eye, there they are sitting down as a little family, and you could see the joy on their faces. I mean, that made more of my day than closing the other 2 business deals that I did that day. Just seeing the joy that was on those people and what they were doing. And just let it flow naturally. You know, it's a Nike situation. Just do it.
Yeah, just do it. Great story. And you know, there's other things that we are going to hear about among these people when we come back from our break. But I want to just say this. Pay it forward. There's this, whatever you're doing, if there's a way for you to pay forward something that has been done to you, and we'll talk about that shortly, go ahead and do it. And the introduction to this book, I believe it's in the introduction, I talk about the fact that sometimes you'll get in a line of people at fast food restaurants, Starbucks, maybe McDonald's, and then you go to pay, and somebody says, the cashier says, "Oh, the person before you paid for your meal." So then what do? You pay for the person behind you, and it goes on and on. And just so that you know, the longest line that has ever been continuous, where everybody paid it forward to the next person, is 900 people. So take that with you as we go to the break, and we'll be right back.
Are you one of the many people who said, "Someday I'll write a book," but don't know how to get started? Many wannabe authors have begun with the same question and are now published by Authentic Endeavors Publishing, a multi-imprint hybrid publishing company. Whether you're writing an autobiography, a memoir, a kingdom book, a children's book, a business book, or an anthology, we have a place for you. Visit www.AuthenticEndeavorsPublishing.com for more information or to set up a 20-minute consultation. Your title of published author is within reach.
Born Able exists to highlight and normalize the humanity, worth, and abilities of infants and children born with complex medical conditions. We write, illustrate, and publish books for these children and have featured over 1,000 children throughout the world. Our videos and posts have been viewed over 100 million times on social media as we strive to showcase these amazingly abled kids and fight relentlessly for equal medical care, regardless of diagnosis. All proceeds from Born Able books go directly to the Born Able Foundation. To nominate a special kid to be featured in a Born Able book, go to www.bornable.org to learn more.
Did you know that every word you speak matters? What you say and how you say it can make or break a relationship or shift the outcome of any situation. Are your conversations making a difference? Faith in God, gratitude, authenticity, and giving are Teresa Velardi's heart. It's in this spirit that she's focused on making a difference in the lives she's blessed to touch. Conversations That Make a Difference is now on syndicated Dream Vision 7 radio network every Tuesday at 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern Time, with live call-in shows every first and third Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.
And we're back with some of the authors from A Daily Gift of Kindness. It is the third book in the Daily Gift book series. And if you haven't gotten your copy, it is available on Amazon. And we are talking to, next we're going to go to Mr. Will Pollock. Will,
Teresa.
it's so good to see you here. And you've been in all of these books. Mark has been all of them as well. And there are quite a few stories in here by authors who have been in all of the series. Daily Gift of Hope and A Daily Gift of Gratitude came before this. So I'm excited and happy to have you in the third book, Will. And you, my friend, are a freelance multimedia journalist, researcher, and author, and you are a transplanted New Yorker in Atlanta. And we say that because
Yeah.
I'm a transplanted New Yorker as well. He's a contributor to the TrumpFile.org and founder of CrankyYank.com, an online news magazine. A native of New York City, now domesticated in the South, Will is a proud dad to Cameron and Jackson. Jackson is a rat terrier puppy, and he's a lifelong tennis player. Not Jackson. Will is a lifelong tennis player. And fan of the New York Yankees, despite the scourge of Alex Rodriguez, oh Lord. And Will's fundraising efforts, Art Vision Atlanta, and his book, Pizza for Good, have raised over $100,000 for various charities. That in itself is an act of kindness. Welcome, Will.
Thank you so much, Teresa.
You're so welcome. And by the way, who else would you know that would name his dog Jackson Pollock?
I had to clear it with my mom first.
You did?
Yeah, I did, because the quick story was, I was trying to think of his name. He came from the pound as Clyde, and that didn't really, Clyde is fine. It just didn't really mean anything. And so I was thinking about it, and we went to the pet store, and the person at the pet store said, "Oh, his coloring looks like a Jackson Pollock splatter painting." And I said, "Oh, that's interesting." So long story short, that's how he got the name.
Wow. And how convenient that your last name happens to be Pollock.
Mm-hmm.
How convenient. That wasn't a God thing. I don't know what was. All right, Will, you wrote a story about someone who was very dear to you, and it is called Wrapped in Rainbows. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, so I'm so happy to be here, Teresa. Thanks again. And it's so great to be with everybody else. I'm coming at it from a little bit of a different angle, because instead of talking about sort of like a tangible act of kindness, I wanted to write sort of an homage to somebody who embodied that. And Valerie Boyd was a prolific author, editor of the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, professor, book mentor, and she was just kindness incarnate. And as everybody was talking, I kept thinking about a Cory Booker quote where he talks about courageous empathy. And if there was a person who embodied courageous empathy, it's Valerie Boyd. And I took her book, How to Write a Book Proposal course in 2008. And it was probably about 12 people, and it was really just incredible. What ended up happening is that she and our friendship went on after the book, the conference, and I got to learn so much more about her. She was giving me all this assistance about connections to publishers and opportunities and stuff that I never would have had before. And I'll never forget when I had my my book release party. She told me ahead of time, she's like, "Will, don't invite me up to the stage. I don't want to talk to anybody." And of course I invited her up on the stage and thanked her and everything. And but it's the type of thing where she passed away in 2022 and 2022. And I just wanted to take the opportunity to tell the story about somebody who is just made connections everywhere she went, and not just the lifelong connections that we cherish. And she wrote a number of acclaimed books, but she was humble through and through, and I adored her, and she was an inspiration for me, and I wanted to write about it.
That's awesome. And you also have a living memory of her, in that, isn't your son born on her birthday?
Yes, this was this was incredible. So my son was born at 4 a.m. and we don't have to really get into, you can just assume and infer that I was sleep deprived and cranky for a month after that, but that's another story. And when I got my wits about me, I texted Valerie and I said, we have another beautiful soul, December 11th soul. And she says, I was secretly hoping that it was going to be that day.
Yeah.
And yeah, she was, sadly, she'd never got to meet my son. But yeah, I'm just coming from the place of celebrating somebody who would not sing their own praises in any other circumstance, really, and who changed my life. And I know she changed a bunch of other people's. And
Yeah, that's so awesome.
So
that's so awesome. And we should, I believe that your story brings another aspect of kindness about honoring those who have made a difference for us, whether it be on a large scale or a small scale. And remembering that when we don't know what kindness looks like, we have those memories to fall back on. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Will. Thank you.
Thank you.
Always good to have you around. You're an awesome person. All right, who are we going to go to next? How about we go to Amy? Amy's raising her hand. So she's like, let me. Okay, so Amy Olmedo is a fun human being. I can tell you that for sure. She's on a mission from God, and her first goal is to publish White Heron, a creation story, which I have the honor of publishing, a blend of spirituality, mythology, and life lessons that inspire triumph over tragedy. Explore her journey by purchasing the book, visiting her website, and joining her community at whiteheron.us. Amy's second goal is to create a retreat where nature becomes a sanctuary for healing and self-discovery amid the mystical woodland trails and a honeybee farm. Guests can rest, reconcile the past, and recreate their future, embracing the transformative power of nature and inner wisdom. And I get to see all this stuff happening. It's just really amazing to watch what's coming about from Miss Amy and company. And so her story is my advice: be kind. So welcome, Amy. This is the first time I have you on the show. It won't be the last.
Thank you. Yeah, this is my first contribution to Teresa's series, but definitely not my last. And I thought it would be really great to go after Will because he wrote it as a tribute to a woman that he really loves. And I wrote mine as a tribute to a woman I really love, which is my mother.
Yes.
My mom is 88 years old, and she's honestly the nicest person I have ever met in my entire life. And I even said that when I was a teenager, so that's kind of a big deal. And now she raised 4 daughters with my father, and she has a bunch of grandchildren and great-grandchildren. And it breaks my heart because my father passed away 12 years ago, and she'll say that he is her best friend. And all of us have moved to different places in the world to continue on our lives. And in the past few years, ever since COVID kind of devastated our world, she has lost almost all of her friends. So her family has moved away, her friends have passed away, and she is virtually alone. And it's not that she doesn't mind being alone because she's a wonderful woman. She, in a time where women didn't have too much of a voice, she did have a voice. It was just a very quiet but strong voice. She worked for one of the 3 people under the Surgeon General but to this day, she would simply call herself a secretary. And she raised four very different and independent young women. And I still can, to this day, can say that my mom is the nicest person that I have ever met. And all she ever wants us to do is love each other. And I know that the reason that it breaks my heart is because all four of her girls have moved away, and we're all very different. And because of one reason or another, in the past few years, we have divided. And she asks me all the time, well, what have you done differently? Well, I can tell you all, and as I've told her, what I've done differently is I've written a book, I've created a retreat, I've changed myself from within, and I've changed myself from without. And hopefully one day I'll be able to call my sisters once again. Because that is the thing that breaks her heart the most. Yeah. And I don't really have a great solution. I can't change other people. I can only change myself, but I can say that my heart is open and willing to make amends, to reconcile the past and create a new future, which is a huge part of what my retreat is for. I've been in 3 car accidents where I should have died. I had a respiratory illness from where I should have died. I had a wicked divorce that cost me millions of dollars. But I'm still here every day creating something much bigger than myself. And Teresa is a huge part of that. She believed in me, and she gave me resources to help myself create my vision. And I don't really know what else to say, except this is going to make me cry.
Me too. And it is a privilege to know you. And the one thing, you have a line written in here about your mom, and this holds true for all of us. Eventually we'll be in a place where, the ones that we love may not be close to us anymore. But what she said is, what you wrote here, Amy, is, my family is scattered and most of my friends have passed. I smile and I keep myself busy, but solitude has worn me down. I am not young anymore, but I courageously, and I want you to hold on to that word, my friend, I courageously lived through what you learn from stories. So, it takes courage to be kind, as well as to get through things that you have experienced, Amy. Those accidents should have killed you. As you said, your divorce was horrific. And by the way, when this book comes out, you all got to get a copy, because it is unbelievable. And I just can't wait until the retreat center is ready, because guess what? We're having a writer's retreat at the center. As soon as it's ready, we're going to be the first clients to go there. But I think that what you learned from your mom, you bring into your life today. And you do have, even though the relationships may be strained, you courageously plug through what comes to you day by day, and it's all good, my friend. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. We have to go to our third segment starting. I can't believe the time is flying past, and we'll be right back. And we'll talk to January and Amanda. Thanks so much for listening.
Do you have an uplifting personal story to share? The Daily Gift Book series began with a daily gift of gratitude and a daily gift of hope, both available on Amazon. We're looking for people like you to share a story in our continuing series. Kindness, peace, inspiration, and generosity are just a few of the upcoming topics in the Daily Gift Book series. Your stories matter, and they make a difference. Visit www.dailygiftbookseries.com to find out more on how to submit your story for one of the upcoming titles.
With the hustle and bustle of today's world, how often do you practice gratitude? How can you make it a habit? Gratitude is more than putting a smile on your face and being thankful for the roof over your head. It's expanding your perception and finding gratitude for every opportunity and every challenge. Gratitude is a feeling of connection to things higher than yourself, to God, and to others. We focus on light,
positivity, and connections. When we join our grateful hearts together, the power of community attracts more people and even more to be grateful for while making a difference. A grateful heart is infectious. Share it. Join our Grateful Hearts community on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/The Grateful Hearts Community and watch your blessings blossom.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.
And we're back for the final segment of this conversation with all these beautiful authors from the newest book of the Daily Gift Book series, Daily Gift of Kindness. In case you haven't figured that out, we're talking about kindness today. And we're going to go next to Miss Amanda Beth Johnson. And Amanda is an intuitive energy healer and best-selling author committed to helping individuals embrace transformation and self-discovery. Based in Southeast Iowa, she uses ThetaHealing to guide clients to releasing limiting beliefs, fostering personal growth, and serving clients serving clients globally. Her journey inspired her to write Blooming into Life, sharing insights on overcoming challenges and finding authentic empowerment. With a unique blend of healing services, and passions for classic cars. Listen to this list: classic cars, gardening, crochet. Amanda brings multifaceted approach to holistic well-being. And you can join her in exploring the path to fulfillment and transformation in all aspects of her life. Hey, Amanda, welcome.
Hey, Teresa. Thanks for having me. It's so great to be here with everybody. I love it.
You're welcome. I love it too. And you just got back from an incredible trip. Where'd you go?
I was in Boquete, Panama for a spiritual retreat that was just wow. So, yeah.
I can't wait to hear all about that.
Yeah. Who needs jet lag? We don't give it any attention.
Yeah, there you go. All right, you submitted 2 stories for this book, and they are entitled, let's see, one of them is Radiating Kindness, The Art of Nurturing Yourself. And the other one is called The Warmth of Winter's Guardians, A Tale of Unsung Heroes. Which of those 2 lovely stories would you like to speak about?
I'm going to have to talk about the nurturing yourself. As everyone talks about, kindness and being in the flow and just pay it forward and do it. It's really hard to pour from that empty glass. And that sometimes we need those self-reminders to take care of ourselves and have those kind conversations with ourselves. We're usually our own worst critic. We say things to ourselves we wouldn't say to our enemies. And we just really need to relanguage that and love yourself and love your imperfections. You are a perfect human being, just perfectly as you are. And take time to nurture that. And being kind to yourself, you'll have so much more kindness to share with others. And so I've got a few suggestions in my submission there, doing a kindness journal. And, some days just taking a shower or taking a nap is the kindness that we need. And that self-care stuff. You really got to do it so that you can pour. And talking, Amy and her healing journeys and everything. If you're not kind to yourself, you can't heal. And being unhealed, you're not giving it all to the world. And so that's my message, is to take care of yourself. The other one is, I think it's easy to pay it forward. It's easy to do those things. And oftentimes I think we're masking our own hurt and our own pain if we haven't taken care of ourselves first. So take care of your own house.
Yeah, that's great advice because, everything I know in my life, everything is busy, do this, do that, finish this, finish that, and it's just that it all comes upon you. And if you don't take that time, I notice that if I don't take time for me, And I really am doing my best to practice this, Amanda. I promise you, but it doesn't always happen. Sometimes my day starts with, oh my God, the alarm clock is going. I have an appointment. I gotta go. And it's just crazy.
Yeah. And when you're not taking care of yourself, you're barely getting by each of those appointments. And when you take that 5 minutes out and you do something that's for you, for me, if it's, just taking my car out and going around the block, or get out some crochet, just one more row, just one more row, just one more row. But do something that's creative for you. It doesn't have to be meditation, because everyone's scared of that stuff. It's just time where you're present. We talk about all the problems that we have in society and so many things, and do some mindful eating. My favorite example of that is the blueberry. Before you eat that blueberry, look at it, appreciate all the nooks and crannies, and look where that blossom was, and think about where that blueberry grew. Just take time, be present, be in the moment, and love yourself. Be kind to yourself and tell yourself those great things. I'm wonderful and beautiful and lovable and capable. I'm amazing. Don't you feel better?
Yeah. And the last line that you have in this story, I'm going to read it because I think we all need to hear it. Treating yourself with kindness builds a foundation of love and respect that radiates outward, contributing to a more compassionate world. And I think that that's where we should all, at least if we're not going to be doing it for ourselves, do it for the sake of other people. But you have to do it for yourself first in order for it to radiate forward. So I think that this is a really good concept. And most people, and I'll go to the top of the list, most people don't take the time to do this. And thank you for the reminder that it is a necessity. And by the way, do you notice, I'm going to ask this question, do you notice when you've done something kind for yourself, somehow you get things done more easily and effortlessly throughout the day?
Yeah. Yeah. It removes so much stress. Yeah. Taking that 5-minute nap, taking time to enjoy your coffee in the morning. Don't rush through it. Your meetings will have so much more meaning to them. But yeah, you gotta center and ground and do all of those caretaking things. Yeah.
And then if any of you are in Iowa, Amanda has a salt pod business. So go get yourself in the salt water. Float.
Yes.
Float. I've always wanted to do that. I think there's just one place around here now that just got started not long ago. So maybe I'm going to have to go get in the salt pod.
You do. It's one of the best things you'll do. It's quick. It's mindless. You will get your time back fourfold. Promise.
Yeah. And it's good for the body because it's absorbing so much magnesium.
It's great for jet lag too.
Yeah, good for you. Thank you, Amanda. I'm so glad that you're in this book. I appreciate you.
Look forward to many more.
Yes, thank you. January Liddell is a dedicated financial professional with more than 3 years experience helping clients achieve tax-free gains and financial security through her ERFT method, eliminating risk, fees, and taxes. Guided by Christian values, January protects her clients' hard-earned money from market volatility and ensuring peace of mind and long-term success. She's the author of Alina the Super Saver. So cute. It's her children's story. She's also a co-host of Sexy Freedom Media podcast. She's married to a retired veteran and mother of 2. January enjoys boogie boarding, archery, and church. Her positive energy, financial expertise, and unwavering commitment make her a trusted ally in financial planning. Miss January.
Hi, aloha, everyone. Thanks for having me, Teresa.
You're so welcome. I'm excited that you're here. And you also wrote about someone. So we have 3 of you who wrote about someone, and there were only a few stories like this that went into the book. So how funny is it that we're all here at the same time? It's crazy, right?
I want to say, oh, go ahead.
I said God's timing is always perfect, right?
Yes, God's timing is always perfect. Amen.
And
Amanda?
your story is a gift from, my gift from God is Bob.
Yes, my gift from God is Bob. But before I say anything about that, I wanted to address Amanda, because Amanda, the salt pods are great. I love the salt pod. It's very euphoric when you're in it. And thank you for sharing the kindness bit, kindness to yourself. Full transparency, I had a panic attack last week, Thursday, and my doctor was saying, you know, it's because of stress. And my mind is great. Like my mind is just focused, keeps going, and I think everything is great. But my body does not align with my mind. So the doctor said, you need to take 1 hour to yourself every single day, which is being kind to myself, right? It's already in my calendar, but I don't. And so thank you for the reminder, you know, to honor being kind to yourself. So
Yes.
I love this book, Teresa, and I didn't realize it was the third edition, our third. I love this book because God actually has been kind to me. So when we talk about kindness, I think about God and I think of what has God blessed me with throughout my whole life. And I think everything that has come before me is from God. Hence, my gift from God is Bob.
Mm-hmm.
Bob and I met in Rhode Island. We went to it's a general synod. It was for church. So it's a conference and it was a there was an adult conference, there was a youth conference. And I met Bob in Rhode Island of all places. He picked me up from the airport. And at the time I was living in the Bay Area. So I lived in San Francisco. It's like 25 years ago. I've lived in San Francisco. It's a long time ago. And Bob asked me, do you know this certain person? And we just so happened to connect in that way. And as the retreat kept going on and on, we had days of fun. It was a slice of heaven. Let's just put it that way. It was a slice of heaven, being surrounded by everyone. And I told him, I said, I'm going to Hawaii. I'm going to go to Hawaii. I actually didn't really think of moving to Hawaii. I just thought I was going to visit him. But as you said, Teresa, God's perfect timing. And this is how I landed here in Hawaii. And Bob has just been a complete gift ever since I met him in Rhode Island, which was over 25 years ago. And he just is very kind. He gave me my first client for when I was being a video editor and producer of films, videos. He gave me my first client. He also allowed me to stay at his place rent free. He just has, and he didn't expect anything in return. And he's like that with everybody. So not just me, but with a lot of people everybody that I've encountered who knows him or has befriended him has said, Bob, you're one in a million. And he is just the epitome of, I feel like what Jesus Christ would do. Like he would just give his shirt off his back without any questions, without any, like wanting anything in return. And so I absolutely adore him because not only has he been kind to me, but he's been kind to my husband, to my children, to all of my friends. And he's just a pure soul, and we talk about this, Teresa, like when I see you, you're a kind person. And that's why we connect so well, because you're so kind and you're just this pure light. And that's how I see Bob. I see Bob as a nice, bright, shiny light, but there's so many. I wish I could have written a dozen more of these stories because there's so many people who have been kind to me. So that's what I wrote about is Bob, gift from God.
Thank you, January. And you'll all have another chance to write again because the next book in the series is called, we have two of them we're working on. So if you have an idea for a story that can go in either a daily gift of peace or a daily gift of friendship, you can go to dailygiftbookseries.com and read all about how you can be a participant in that book. That's for those of you who are listening, as well as those of you who are present in this conversation. And I just want to thank each and every one of you. I can't believe our hour is gone already. It's gone, completely gone. But it has been filled with so much joy, so much love, so much kindness, so much information for you to take away from this conversation. And I encourage you to get your copy of this book and read all the stories that came from not only this group of people, but from the rest of them. There's over I think 75 authors on this book. So enjoy each and every one of those stories. And until next time, make sure the conversations that you're having with other people in your world are making a difference in your life, but more than that, making a difference in their life. So make a difference. And with that, we'll see you next time. Have a good day, everybody.
Tune in next time for Conversations That Make a Difference with host Teresa Velardi every Tuesday at 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern, with live call-in shows every first and third Tuesday on syndicated Dream Vision 7 radio network. Thank you for listening, and thank you to our station owner, Deborah Beauvais, working behind the scenes. Be sure to go to conversationsthatmakeadifference.com for your free gift. Make sure your conversations make a difference.